From cardiac nurse to amazing health coach, Jennifer Hinkapy has a powerful story of overcoming tremendous loss in childhood and how that led her to create a healthcare career, but more importantly, her personal health journeys that stemmed from that and how she's been able to alchemize that pain into purpose for a soul satisfying health coaching career. I can't wait for you to hear her story. Please welcome Jennifer Hinkapy. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I was so touched by the details of your story, some of which I had not known about. I know you are extremely accomplished, obviously, as a cardiac nurse. Tell us a little bit about what you were doing before. Tell us a little bit, pick up the story wherever you want to talk about how did you go from where you are or from where you were as a kid and through your childhood, and how did that lead you to become a nurse and then to a health coach? And just share a little bit of your story because it's so powerful.
Of course. So yeah, for me, everything started when I was really, really young. I ended up losing my mom at 11. And then from there, I was living with my grandma at that time. She just basically took over the care.
Mhm.
And she passed. She passed like 3 years after. So before she passed, she was also really sick.
Yeah.
So she was like a year and a half, basically bedridden at home. So I saw that. I saw my auntie and my grandpa, staying up at night to take care of her. And I was also part of that team. I was there
Mhm.
with them, supporting all of them as well as I could. So that really started everything for me. But one of the main things is that we never really knew for sure, like what happened to her.
Mhm.
She was only 54, and the doctors were not like really clear
Yeah.
about anything. So like they didn't have really good answers for us.
Mhm.
They didn't have like a plan or like a treatment that was clear or that was helping her.
Mhm.
So I started to wonder many things at that age. Like I was asking myself, like, what are we doing here? What's happening? I was really young to understand many things, but
And
that's what
how
I
old were
remember.
you at this point, Jennifer?
I was 13.
Yeah, so that's like a lot. And then not having your mom to kind of like interpret it. Sometimes, they can translate some of what's going on when we are at that young age. And I can't imagine that your caregiver and then the next caregiver, and then with all of this confusion and nobody knows what's going on. Yeah, so yeah, continue. So yeah, at that young age, not being able to figure out what is going on.
Yeah, exactly. So that took me to, I just like started to handle like my emotions not such a healthy way. I was just going to comfort foods.
Yeah,
So I started to eat things that I found really tasty, I guess, but they were comforting to me.
yeah.
So like pastries and ice cream and a lot of fried and refined foods.
Yeah,
So with no surprise, when I was like 23, I ended up like just on a regular doctor's visit. I ended up finding out that I was getting high cholesterol. And so that's when my personal health issues started to show up. And I understood that I needed to do something differently, that I needed to take care of my health. And even though it was a busy time, because I was also going to school and working at that time, I decided that I was going to start taking steps towards getting myself to a better place.
hmm.
And so I did that, yeah.
And so what kind of thing, so when you go to these stress foods, and I mean, anybody who's listening in the audience, I mean, feel free to comment below if you too, in your grief, and in managing your stress have gone to comfort foods. I know I sure have. Like you're looking for something to fill that. And especially at that young age as well. That's just going to be a natural consequence. And then what were some of the consequences of the consequences? So we're going to this stress food, and that is leading to a high cholesterol. The cravings and the food that you had, did you have any other health challenges or other symptoms that came as a result of, kind of like trying to soothe yourself in this way? Any mood or energy or other things that also were involved in this?
Yeah, definitely. So with my cravings and all of that, I ended up noticing that I was gaining weight.
Mm-hmm.
So I gained a significant amount of weight. But I was also like getting acne in my face. I was feeling really fatigued. Like I was very young, like I said, but I was feeling like it was hard for me to like get up and move around. Like sometimes I would feel heavy and just tired.
Mm-hmm.
So those were like the main things that I was like dealing with.
Yeah. And you're young still, and appearance is such a big part of especially young girls' lives
Mhm.
nowadays. And so that certainly must have kind of eat at your confidence and self-esteem and all of those things. So we have all of these health challenges. And then you're like, then it's not just the appearance, it's like this cholesterol is up, and you're like, wait, why do I have that? And so then you decide, okay, I'm going to take matters into my own hands and prioritize it. And I just want to acknowledge you for that, because most people, um, well, would wait until it gets really bad, and then they have the major health challenge that happens that sometimes is not recoverable. Maybe it's 20 years down the road, but you took that opportunity to say, I need to prioritize myself. And even in the midst of, like, you're not waiting for life to be better, because you already know that that's not a good idea. So even with all the school and the stresses that you have, because a lot of people say, well, I know I should be doing better, but life is busy right now. And it is always busy. There's always something going on. And then, but there's consequences to that action. So now you're prioritizing yourself, even despite all that's going on. What does that mean to prioritize yourself? What did you do to try and make things better? And then what happened as a result of that?
Sure. I think when it comes to prioritizing myself, it's just saying yes to me, right?
Yeah.
Because at that age, I was also starting to see like where my future was going. So where my like what kind of things I want to do with life.
Yeah.
But if I'm like encountering that, okay, this high cholesterol, I don't know what this means down the future, like in a few years, 10 years, 20 years. So it was just saying yes to like a healthier version of
Hmm.
myself, but also
Hmm.
to my future.
Right.
And I understand that and I understood that back then, that if I wanted that life, in a sense, I needed to be better and with my health,
Hmm.
because that also will impact those around me and the way I show up in life.
Hmm. Yeah, and so you were aware of the significance of it. You were aware of the problem. That's the first thing. Then you're aware of the significance and the trajectory. You chose and made a decision. I'm going to choose something different. And I assume you started, moving your body and drinking more water and eating healthier foods and things like that. Were those some of the things that you started to do? And then as a result, what happened?
Yeah, so the main things that I did for that, I started to move more, right? Very intentionally, I started to do things to help myself, um, like get better. And one of those things was walking. So I made walking a daily practice, and I started like everyone when they start doing exercise, oh, I gotta do this. But then I started loving walking and it just became easy. So I did that. I started to choose healthier foods. I learned how to eat foods that I never ate before, like salmon and veggies and stuff like that. I started to cook differently and change things around home. I got olive oil and all of those good things. And then another thing that I did is I started to journal. That was helpful. I started to drink more water, like it just being very intentional, getting sleep and just doing all of those things that were gonna support me.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So then I assume your weight improved, your energy's improved, and then, uh, th- th- the whole story about your, uh, mother, your grandmother, your health challenges, is that what led you to nursing?
Yeah, so those things did improve, like my weight improved, like my appearance, acne, energy, all of those things, like they all started to like improve my cholesterol.
Yeah.
So that got so much better. And then, yeah, so around that time, I was going to college and I was deciding what type of career I wanted to choose. So I was somehow always like interested in health, but
Yeah.
I guess uh, just learning with my own journey also kind of opened that door for me even bigger. So I started to look into what I could do for careers. And yeah, like I feel like my grandma's stories also influenced me to take that step into nursing.
Yeah, you and I share that. Like it was my grandmother passed when I was 14, and that experience was what led me to become a doctor. Like that, those experiences often, somebody has had a health challenge with themselves or a loved one, and that is what is that in those formative years, especially, but has somebody say, I want to help in some way in healthcare, and so then that led you to nursing. Then you're a cardiac nurse. That opportunity came up that resonated. uh, I think we chatted before. It wasn't on a conscious level, cholesterol, cardiac. It was like it wasn't. It was just like, hey, that yeah, I want to do that. So now you're working as a cardiac nurse for years. And then how do we go from cardiac nurse to health coach to really what I feel like is full circle, coming back to getting to the root of the issues that was right back when you're helping with people those things that you struggled with as a child. And so how did you go from cardiac nurse? Do you remember the moment? Where were you when you go from cardiac nurse to saying, I need something else that leads you to health coaching?
Yeah, that was definitely in the hospital. So I was working in ICU unit, and that particular ICU that I was working is we had a lot of cardiac patients, and they were like the sickest people around in town. So I got to see a lot during that time, very chronic, many many disease and suffering. So one of the things that I always was asking myself constantly is like, am I doing enough here? Like, am I really helping them? Like, I see the doctors, nurses, everyone is trying to help them here, but we're not getting much done. And I feel like they're so sick right now that even if we tried, I don't think we're gonna do much.
Yeah.
But like, I started to wonder, what if we start doing something earlier on? Could we prevent them to like from getting this sick?
Yeah.
And so I started asking myself questions like that. And then one day I didn't want to see them like that anymore. And
Yeah.
I started looking into other opportunities of like I wanted to further my career.
Mhm.
I thought maybe nurse practitioner would be the next step. At least in the US, it's like, oh, that's this next step that you will take as a
Mhm.
nurse.
Yeah.
But it didn't resonate with me because it's like more of what I was doing. Maybe in a different role, but it was still the same, right?
Mhm.
Same medicine. I wanted to do something more and work with people at a deeper level.
And then you ended up going to IIN like I did way back when.
Mhm.
And so then you become an IIN health coach. And then now full circle. Who is it that you are helping? We always talk about carving out your niche. Who is it now that you are passionate about helping as a health coach?
Yeah. So I'm passionate about helping women that they want to either lose weight, get rid of cravings, gain energy and vitality, and stress. I think stress is one of those factors that we all have around, but definitely that could also be a big driver. So I want to help them overcome all of this and have just healthier and happier lives, really.
I love it. And you've gone through all of those stressors, and so you understand what it's like. You know what it's like to have food cravings. You know what leads to it and how to combat it and what to do to get on the other side of it, to have your skin improve and your mood improve and your energy improve and mental clarity and to lose weight. And so you know firsthand and can be compassionate with their stories. And I really feel like, in a sense, you're you can get to mother yourself or nurse yourself through this, and it's like such a beautiful role that we get to play as health coaches. And so, what do you love best about being a health coach? It's for me, I think it's the best career on the planet. But what do you love best about it?
I love that I can work with people like really closely, right? So I feel
Hmm.
like that allows me to do more of that deeper work that I always wanted to do. And like to me, that's very meaningful, right?
Yeah,
I like the transformation process to like see them grow and go from point A to point B, right?
yeah,
That is very rewarding. It's satisfying to see that.
yeah,
But I also I love the freedom that comes with being a health coach, as when it comes to flexibility for schedule, being able to travel more, but also like working with people that are like in different places, in different countries. Any city basically is really amazing to be able to do that.
yeah. And that's one thing when I was in the hospital system, and you as well in ICU, you don't get to pick your own hours. You gotta be there. And so the freedom that health coaching brings to repurpose that amazing skill set that you have to be able to work with who you want, where you want, how you want is really wonderful. And it really helps you maintain a healthy life, being able to have that work-life balance rather than doing the long 12-hour shifts and so on, and depriving your own health in some ways. So it's really amazing for people who are in healthcare, if they're like, hey, I'm burning out. But I still want to help people. I really feel like health coaching is a phenomenal opportunity for people to do that. And so, Jennifer, when you came to us, you were already a health coach. And what are some things that you were struggling with in creating your health coaching practice when you came to us at the health coaching with the Health Professional Academy? What were some of the things that you were maybe either, yeah, just struggling with or trying to figure out?
Yeah, so I want to say that one of the main things for me was the niche, right? So knowing who to help. I had many interests. I thought I wanted to help people with gut health, brain health, like hormone inflammation, just different things. Like everything was like, oh, okay, I can go any direction.
Hmm.
But I didn't have the understanding of like finding a group of people that you can work with and pairing that with your expertise. Like I didn't have that knowledge. That's
Hmm.
something that I definitely learned with you. Um, Also, for me, it's like I didn't have a business background.
Hmm.
So working as a nurse and all of that, which is like our skill sets are different. So being able to have like a clear business plan, like a clear system in place, that is also very, very helpful. And then sales skills is something that I didn't have either. And it's just something that is so very important in this process as well. And that's something that I have been like really grateful to learn here as well.
it's one thing to become a health coach or a nurse or a doctor and you know about the human body and then you know about coaching and that's a really important skill set. But just because we know about anatomy and just because we know how to coach people doesn't necessarily automatically mean we know how to run a successful business. And I think a lot of health coaches, that's a missing link. And as a doctor, as a nurse, we don't really have to run a business. I mean, we show up at the hospital and we're inundated with more patients than we know what to do with. And then the same skills, the same degrees and credentials as a health coach, now what? So on the one hand, there's no one telling you what to do. That's the good news. The bad news is no one's telling you what to do. And so to really have a structure and a framework, I know for the people that are within the Health Professional Academy, it's really a game changer so that they can actually do that work that they're meant to do. And so if you are a health coach and you're like, how do I do that? How do I structure it? I'm just going to put a link to a free copy of Six Figure Health Coach in the links below. Walks you through the 12-step blueprint so that you can have some structure to be able to do and get your healing gifts out into the world. I always like asking people about the misconceptions that people have regarding the niche. And so you are helping people lose weight and deal with those like overwhelming cravings and the stress and going into the comfort food, admit, rightfully so, but you help them walk them through that. What are some of the misconceptions that you have when people are looking at, say, weight loss or overcoming these health challenges?
I think what I've seen in my experience is like missing the bigger picture. So
Mhm.
like not seeing the full picture of what's really going on. And one might think, okay, I'm gaining weight, so this must mean that is my diet.
Mm,
And it happens to be that there are other factors in your life that are like contributing to that weight gain. Could be sleep or stress or hormone imbalance. So therefore, uh, you're chasing just one of those factors, but you're not seeing the whole picture. So you're missing that opportunity to actually get on the other side and lose that weight. When you actually take care of all of those factors, like you really look deep and you see what are like the things contributing to that weight gain, and you clear those, then that weight gain goes away as well.
yeah. So yeah, looking at the whole picture, all the factors. Yeah, really important. And a lot of the reverse is also true where people think, well, I can just exercise and it doesn't matter about my diet. And, you can't outrun the fork. And so, yeah, just that one, looking for that magic bullet, that's not what it is. We have to look at the whole situation. I think that's really wise. Through this experience that you have gone through to become a health coach, how have you grown personally through that experience?
I love this question. I feel like I have grown in many different ways. I don't think I have enough words to explain, but I definitely became a more conscious human being
Hmm.
in many different areas. So health-wise, like I am more intentionally than before. Um, so like I just many things changed from the way I eat, the way I think. Um, I just have a bigger perspective.
Hmm.
That as I can put it down as that I have a bigger perspective of what it means to be healthy and have a good like have well-being.
In terms of that bigger perspective that we have now. And looking back where you are now, looking back at your younger self, what would you say to your younger self, knowing what you know now?
Yeah, I guess I would say that the road can be bumpy,
Mhm.
but so that doesn't mean that that is not your journey or that you cannot get to your goals.
Mhm. Mhm.
Sometimes, especially when we're trying to do something meaningful, uh, things can seem a little complicated and they can be a little difficult to start with. but that doesn't mean that you're not like doing what you're meant to do or that you're not in the right path. It's just part of the process. So I will tell myself to be patient with the process, um, to trust as well.
I
To,
just love I love what you shared. It's one of my favorite answers that the road could be bumpy and that doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. And anybody who's lived life knows that it's going to be bumpy. Um, and it's different. You definitely want to sense your intuition and if you're going down the dark alley, like you're like, hey, I should not be here. Okay, take note of that. But the bumps in the road and the curves are part of the journey. And it's not necessarily supposed to be all smooth sailing. And sometimes those painful moments, I know in my life and clearly in your life, have shaped you into being the person that you are now and the immense value that you can now give to your clients. Hugely helpful, which would not have happened had you not had navigated those bumps along the road. And so it doesn't mean you're doing something wrong and it doesn't mean you're going in the wrong direction. I think that's really profound and really helpful for people, listening. Like there's a saying, it all works out in the end, and if it's not working out, it's not the end. So keep going. You're in the middle part of the movie where it's all going, like, feels like it's falling apart, and keep going. I think really powerful for what you're able to do. And then when you help people with one thing, then there's just this ripple effect, because especially when you take into all of what they're going through into account and the entire situation, and you have a deeper understanding, like the way that you approach your clients. Share some examples of some things that when you're helping with one thing, then all of these other things can sometimes get better. Share a example or two that you've noticed.
yeah, I remember this particular lady that she came to me because she was looking to lose weight and gain energy. And she got that. She lost weight, she gained energy. But then she also told me, hey, my migraines are getting better. And I knew that she had chronic migraines and they were sometimes 2 to 3 times per week. And now she was getting them less often and with less severity. She was just super excited about that. So I was like also really happy for her. Another person also like this lady I'm super excited about because she also wanted to lose weight and gain energy, but she was super exhausted when we started. And then she started to notice some changes where she said that she was not fatigued or exhausted like before. Like she could like make it through her day with good energy.
Mhm.
But also her skin was getting better. Like her skin was getting better. She was super excited about that. And then people started to ask her, "Hey, are you doing something differently? Because what are you doing? Because you just look different." And so she was also very happy that like multiple people was asking her that. So that was just also excited for her.
I love that. It's really the gift that keeps on giving. And like when other people start to notice your weight, your energy, your skin, they're like, "What are you doing?" And that's really what the goal is, to have them have such excellent results. And that does help to feed your practice, your business, and everybody wins. Your client wins, the people they refer wins, you win. And so I love that when you help people get actual real results. And yeah, we might start with weight or energy, but the next thing you know, migraines are getting better and all of these other things, because we help to decrease inflammation, help them manage stress. So awesome, Jennifer. I love that. If people are wanting to talk to you, maybe they've had a similar experience as you, or maybe they're struggling with weight, and maybe they're being told that they need to do some harsh thing, like they got to like stop eating this and stuff, and it's just like a one a one angle perspective. They're not taking into account all that this person's gone through, and looking at nutrition and habits and that. And they're like, they want to connect with you. What is the best way for them to connect with you?
Yeah, so my website is nurture2wellness.com. You can find information there, but also you can either follow me on Instagram or you can message me through there as well. And that is J underscore Tatiana HH.
Okay, so nurture2wellness.com is the website. That's nice and easy. And then on Instagram, J underscore Tatiana, TatianaHH, on Instagram. It's been such a pleasure. If you have questions for Jennifer, pop them in the comments. If you're a health coach looking at, okay, I want to get my practice up and running, or I'm thinking of getting my practice up and running, but I don't even know what the things are to do the business side. I know how to help with the helps, but I don't know how to do the business side. I'm going to put a video here on the 5 steps to creating your successful health coaching practice. And with that, thank you so much, Jennifer, for being here. And
Thank
thank
you so
you.
much for having me.
And thank all of you for listening, and have a phenomenal week. And of course, be good for you.